The chairman of DP World says that as far as his company is concerned, global trade is shifting, not slowing, very much along the lines that you've just been hearing about. New shifting bringing new opportunities. DP World is one of the world's largest port operators. It runs Dubai's Jebel Ali Free Zone, which links Asian markets with Africa, Europe and the Americas. Revenue was up 20% during the first half of the year. It's spending $2.5 billion to improve its ports and other facilities. Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem is the chair and chief exec of DP World. The chairman is with me now. Sir, it is good to see you. You were listening just then to what Ngozi was saying, and there is this shift. Now, obviously, the first part of the year was biased because people were getting things in before tariff deadlines came into play. Do you see the rest of the year continuing with that strong demand?
Yes. Richard, the world has contracted in trade during COVID, and we're just recovering from it. We see growth in our business around the world. UK is almost 4% in the first 6 months of this year. We're building a terminal called Terminal 5, and it's already committed, and now we have to build another terminal called Terminal 6 just to cope with the trade in UK.
So what about this idea that the US, with its tariffs, is remaking the global trading system, or at least trying to? And we have seen the volume of trade reduce, but it's more sophisticated than that, isn't it? It's different trade routes that are growing.
Let me tell you, the United States is negotiating a fair trade. It is the largest trading economy in the world, and they don't feel they are being treated fairly around the world. And it's whatever you see about tariffs, it's just a negotiation, negotiating a deal. At the end, whoever is negotiating will come to the middle part where both would agree that this is the right one. We haven't reached that yet.
Do you see much more disruption? The Director General says, battered but not beaten, which is similar to what you're telling me. But do you see much more disruption coming down the road?
Let me say, disruption for us is opportunities. I'm telling you. Trade.
In what way?
Well, we are everywhere in the world. Wherever it goes less, it will go more in another area. We've seen trade in Africa growing like you wouldn't believe. We've seen India growing. We see markets in the Far East growing. We see the Middle East. Look at the Middle East today. Turkey is going to have big growth because there's no more war where Syria was. Syria is growing. We just started the port in Syria.
You see, this is something, because I think we've been so focused on the US and the tariffs that these other growing stories perhaps have missed us by on a daily basis. But you're saying they're there. And I'm thinking particularly about intra-African trade and, as you say, new countries like Syria.
Absolutely. The media is maybe nervous about what's happening. We are not. We see growth in Brazil. Imagine, we had a port where we expanded and we worried who's going to come. And now we have no space. We have to find more space.
So where are you putting your eggs?
Today, I see the Middle East growth. I see India, definitely a lot of growth. I see Latin America, especially Brazil, and even the Pacific side of Latin America with the growth. I see Indonesia is growth. The Far East, Richard, they cannot even cope with the demand of their own internal market, be it China or Indonesia.
What about the various regional serious wars, like, for example, the Red Sea, the Cape, places where that has become extremely difficult and added considerable costs for shippers? Has that abated much, or is that still very much prevalent?
Whoever goes through the Red Sea goes to the same cost. So the cost is not one shipping is paying less. Everybody paying the same. And when there is a high cost on everybody dealing with it. But what we do and what we did, we found different routes. Like if I have a consignment going to Europe or go to Uzbekistan through the Black Sea, through maybe our port in Constanța, Romania, I will take it through Karachi and then take it by road through Afghanistan or Iran so I can do that between Karachi and Warsaw for about 7 days or 10 days, sorry. Uzbekistan is 8 days and Warsaw is 10 days. We had to find new routes, and that's what we've been doing.
When we talk about AI and how AI obviously AI is being used by you and shippers for maximum efficiency. But how far do you think we've got in the use of AI? Because the logistics, it always strikes me that ports and shipping is absolutely perfect for AI's, if you will, efficiency rigor.
Let me tell you, it's a backbone of our economy, our backbone of business today. Yes, absolutely. Predictive analysis. You know, today, not like before, if we predict something, we can test it by past experience. And that's where AI comes in. It gives you all the information you need to make better decisions about what you're going to do, whether it's investment or whether it's a new route. You want to get something from somewhere to somewhere and you're going to go this route, and you can really predict how it's going to be and how fast it's going to be.
You and I have talked many times about the supply chain issues. They're still there, particularly in some key industries like aviation. Do you still believe that there is a systemic supply chain problem, or has it worked itself out to some extent? Where are we on that supply chain problem?
Unfortunately, supply chain, we tested it many times in many crises, and it's fragile. It is weak. It's not sustainable. And that's where we invested a lot in logistic parks, in storage and distribution, in certain facilities, railroad, shipping, coastal shipping, just to make sure we can bridge the links that have been broken. Trade is sustainable. Trade will always happen. I don't care what any custom duty increase, whatever. Trade will find its way. But unfortunately, 90% of trade goes on by sea, and that is not sustainable. And that's why we have to have multimodal routes to get something from A to B.
So finally, in that environment, what's the most difficult part for you? Because you are investing billions, and it is in the billions, in port facilities and infrastructure in often difficult countries where geopolitics plays a big role. I mean, you're fortunate in a sense. You're based in a country that has had a great deal of stability in terms of politics and in terms of geopolitics. But the other countries where you're operating is the opposite. So what for you is the biggest systemic risk that you face?
We face these risks all the time. We are accustomed to it. And we are a company that is investing in long term. If we have a port concession for 50 years, I'm not going to worry about 3 months of a problem or 2 years of a problem in Red Sea. We'll find a way. And port business is so isolated from the country that has a problem. Shipping line will come in, drop cargo, take some cargo and go out.
Chairman, we've seen it. Thank you so much. What a great discussion on trade from both the WTO and from yourself. I'm grateful, sir.